You know, we from a more serious standpoint, like that last game against the Habs was our best game of the whole playoffs, and that game gave us an opportunity to move forward and compete for the cup. But that's the type of hockey that we're going to have to play, that type of game, because obviously whoever we play, LA or Chicago, pick your poison, Stanley Cup champions or Stanley Cup champions from 2 years. So it's going to have to be our best hockey of the year.
What makes those two teams so difficult?
I mean, they're battle tested. They've both, played on the big stage. They've both won. Different styles. Obviously, LA, is a little bit bigger, but both teams do. They both have a puck possession game that makes it real hard for you to get it back. So, different challenge, but two real good teams.
Yeah, it's interesting you said that the 1-0 game and the last game was the best game. Is that because you smothered Montreal so much? Is that what you're...
I would say to you, it was the 1-0, but could have been a lot more than 1-0. I thought defensively it was our best game of the playoffs, but offensively, I mean, we got some unreal looks that give their goaltender a lot of credit. He was phenomenal in that game.
Does it give you any kind of edge or advantage, just the fact that you took care of business in the Game 6, didn't have to go back to Montreal, got a couple of days of rest in,
I think for us, I mean, considering a two series before, we're 2 7-game series, the fact that we were able to give our guys 48 hours off, and that we're going to have an opportunity for the first time in these playoffs to practice 3 straight days, I'm confident that's going to be very beneficial for us.
I know, not trying to simplify, but when Chris came back in Game 4 against Pittsburgh, he took a game to get used to it, but it seemed like that added a balance that may not have quite been there. Would you say that's about right?
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, that Chris with Stepp and Nasher, have been a real consistent line for us. Bringing him in, bringing that speed back in, bringing that physical game that he can play makes it real tough on the other team. And now on the left side, I've got him, I've got Hags, Benny, and I got Boiler, who might not have the same type of speed, but I got some size and speed on that left side that makes it real challenging for the other team.
As far as Rick Nash goes, we all marvel at his offensive skills, but you had him out there, 1-0 game at the end of the game. Could you tell us what it is about his defense that you like so much?
Smart. Rick's a real smart player. He knows where to go. He knows how to use that big body of his and get in the right positions. So, I mean, he's a real strong two-way player, and obviously we need his offensive part, but the way he's played for us, without the puck has been a big boost.
The guys in the room talk about how your calm and consistent approach has helped them, and whether it's earlier in the year or the Pittsburgh series, whatever, if things didn't change, is that a conscious decision, conscious effort on your part to just stay even keeled when you can? A tendency a lot of guys would have is to change things up, overreact.
To tell you the truth, I think I've pretty much been that way. I've been coaching a long time. I started coaching I was 23 years old, going back to school after my brilliant 42-game NHL career, and it was my way to give something back to the game, and been coaching ever since. So I think I probably was a little bit more emotional when I started to coach. Then I sort of figured, as you get more experience, you figure things out, and you understand when it's time and when it's not time. And this team at this time, they got to know me, I got to know them. Like, one of this maybe might sound stupid, probably is, but I mean, I always say for a 7 o'clock game, 6:30 warm up. At 6 o'clock, my teams always shut the music off in the dressing room. It sounds stupid, but I always shut. And I did the same thing here. And then after a couple of exhibition games, I had a couple of guys come and see me. And we're not used to this here. We usually like to play it a little bit longer. So okay, I said okay, we'll go 6:50, and after maybe I want to say a couple of weeks into the season, I had a couple more guys come to see me, and they said, listen, we'd like to play the music until warm-up starts. And I said, okay, fine, if that's how you're going to get in your zone, then go ahead and do it. So I think you got to understand where your players are coming from. You figure out what motivates them. Each player has to be handled differently, and it takes a little bit of time, and it took me a little bit of time to figure this group out.
When you first met me,
Who came to see you?
The first guy who came to see me was Dan Girardi, and I think he was doing it for Hank.
when you first met,
Or so he said.
when you first met McDonough in training camp, what stood out to you about his character and his ability to take on a large role on your power play?
Yeah, again, I think I said this a while back, the experience to put Mac there was me and Richie talking one day about power play, and like I'm trying to figure out who goes here and who goes where, and he said maybe we should try Mac, and he was right. I mean, he was the right guy to put at the right time.
You guys talked about Richie and Marty having been there before and their experience, but you've now been there before too. So are you better, do you think, equipped for the finals than you were to?
Without a doubt. I mean, experience is a hard thing to get, and I've already shared yesterday. Management and coaches got together on the logistics side of what I think needs to happen here moving forward. So I've done that part, and now it's time to help the players do their part. We got a pretty good idea here of what's coming, and it's my job and my coach's job to make sure that our players can get in their right frame of mind so that game 6 we can put that back on the ice again.
You have a very different game plan depending on which team you play, and if so, did that make today difficult at all as to what you're going to work on?
Both teams are different, so the plan obviously is going to be different, but at the same time, we have to remember what got us here and play to our strengths and play our game. Obviously, there's going to be attention made on the opposition here, but we can never forget what got us here.
And speaking of experience, I believe in Vancouver you coached against LA in a series, and in Chicago, obviously, but it was obviously not with the Rangers. Does that play into this?
Well, I would say to you that in whichever team that we play, I know them both real well, so we'll be able to get our group ready for it.
Any long-term concerns on Cam here?
He's day-to-day. He's been issues here, and he's day-to-day, and hopefully he'll be on the ice soon.
Was this something that was?
It's not something that I want to discuss.
When Miller skated today, is he getting better?
He would say, I'm under the impression a couple more days here. That's what I'm under the impression.
What's been key to your PK against some of these obviously talented teams you played against them? What do you think is so good about it?
I mean, Alfie's done a great job of pre-scouting the opposition and giving some real good information to our players. And our guys have really stuck to what needs to be done. I mean, we've met from Giroux then to Crosby to the Habs, 3 different power plays. Each have big strength. Giroux's line, Crosby, how he runs it, and the last one with Subban. I mean, they've all been different challenges, and we've been able to prepare well and get it done.
That's it.